Thank you so much for attending my presentation about the failure of Falinks, and first, as I say in basically every video at this point, let's look at its traits. Falinks has some really bad stats. Attack is a usable but not insane 100 and it's very frail. Plus, it's stuck in a really crowded typing, that being mono fighting. There's actually a lot of these goobers, especially down in low tiers. Sock, Throw, the Hitmons, Primate, the list goes on. Thus, Falinks can kind of struggle to set itself apart. Falinks has a pretty decent ability, that being Defiant. When a stat is lowered by the opponent, it gets its attack raised by 2 stages, pretty solid. Anyways, Falinks has a lot of coverage. It can actually hit hard with Knockoff, High Horsepower, First Impression, Iron Head, Poison Jab, Rock Slide, and Zen Headbutt. Very versatile, it makes it a bit tough to take on in theory, but with stats like that, how could it succeed? If you know about Failings, there's only one reason why people really think it has potential: no retreat. This is one of the most insane moves ever created, literally giving the user an omni boost. Now we've seen stuff like this before, but it always has a drawback or condition. Ancient Power and Silver Wind need you to get a 10% chance. Clanger's Soul sacrifices a third of your maximum HP. No retreat also has a downside, but it's not really that bad. You can't switch. This is pretty obviously geared towards sweeping, so why would I want to switch out anyways? Obviously there are scenarios where it's the best choice, but this isn't actually that relevant. Plus, it keeps it safe from phasing like Roar. However, to keep it in check, you can only use no retreat once. This means no getting multiple boosts. While obviously not a great limit, this move is still insane. Phalanx sets are generally pretty simple. No retreat plus 3 attacks makes the most sense and is thus its most common build. Close combat is your stab option, but after that you're pretty free to do whatever. Rock Slide is a particularly solid option despite slower base power, hitting fighting resists, bug, and flying where it hurts. Phalanx can also forgo the setup move entirely, instead throwing on a choice band. If it's ever able to come in on a defog and proc Defiant, it can be a menace, especially in the lower tiers. Speaking of, despite some insane traits, Phalanx is expectedly pretty bad. It's not useless, but at least right now, there isn't a good place to run it. The power creep of the DLCs has pushed it out of metagame contention both in Gen 8 and Gen 9. Pre-DLC in Gen 9 it was actually okay, peaking as a usable PU threat, but also the power level was way lower. I mean, fucking Shroodle was ranked in early PU. Remember that thing? Shroodle? I haven't thought about it in months. Jimothy Cool actually is a great video about Phalanx's role in Gen 9 ZU before DLC 2 came out, so go watch it. It'll be in the description. Aside from those earlier roles though, there isn't too much to talk about. We know what its sets tend to do, but Phalanx isn't very good anyways. Okay, so why exactly is it bad? Well, the first reason is pretty obvious. Those stats fucking blow. Man, they really couldn't spare anything here. Being a slow attacker that needs a turn to set up doesn't really work when you're about as bulky as Kamala and have a horrible defensive type. Actually living long enough to get ready to sweep isn't easy, even down in lower tiers. And let's be honest, the reward isn't that nuts either for all that has to go right. That's where we see the second problem. Not being able to use no retreat multiple times really hurts Phalanx's ability to actually get into super strong positions. I do get why they did that in theory, but its numbers are just so bad to where it wouldn't even be that good anyways. Justifying a whole team slot for your all or nothing high risk sweeper when you could just use a balanced threat is very difficult. This phenomena is something I've talked about before and called steroids Pokemon. These guys are generally speaking really bad and are only helped by one insane thing. This can be an ability, move, or whatever. Safe to say Phalanx fits into that category. In conclusion, Phalanx is a bit of a mess. With only one saving grace, it's let down hard by its entire kit. Thus, it struggles to make much of an impact anywhere that matters. Thank you so much for watching.